Hello YouTube, Connor Comics here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of The Flash by Geoff Johns Book 1. And now, these are the people that have worked on the book. As you see, we've got writers, pencilers, inkers, colorers, letterers, and obviously the collection cover artist. Like I said, The Flash by Geoff Johns, so this is written by Geoff Johns. Pencils by
Angel Anzueta, Scott Collins, and Ethan Van Sciver.
Ethan Van Sciver has worked with Geoff Johns in the past, with The Flash, obviously here, and with Green Lantern. He worked on him with Green Lantern Rebirth, Green Lantern No Fear, and pretty sure he worked on Green Lantern Revenge of the Green Lanterns. And he also worked on him with Green Lantern Volume 2 in the New 52. Now we have the inkers.
The inkers Doug Hazelwood and Prentice Rollins.
Colorers.
The colorers are Tom McCraw and James Sinclair.
Letterers.
Gaspar Saladino and John Costanza.
And then the person who collected the cover art was Brian Boland, who worked with Alan Moore on Batman The Killing Joke. Now let's get into the things that I enjoyed about the story and the one thing that I didn't like about the story. Now in this first book, this collects The Flash 164 to 176, and also collects The Flash Iron Heights. And these stories follow the Wally West Flash and not the Barry Allen Flash. Now, the first story of this, how it starts out, is basically Wally West is being brought into a prison, and it's basically the idea that Mirror Master and Captain Cold tricked him and put him into a mirror dimension. And in that universe, the superheroes did exist, but most of them were killed off. There's the Justice Society, and most of them were killed off. And then you have Justice League, as you can see, going up against Starro, but in this fight, Aquaman was killed in this mirror universe, and then you have the Teen Titans, who were all killed off and suffocated. So yeah, now I'm gonna move on to the second story. The one bit in this that I didn't enjoy. Now, this part of it I think was only 3 issues long, and I wasn't really a fan of it. It was where they were put into a sort of medieval time period, and then there was this man royalty, and I really didn't enjoy this story. This was the one bit that I found boring, but the rest of the story is great. This is just the 3 issues that I really didn't enjoy. But yeah, it gets better after this. It's just this I really didn't enjoy. Nothing really happened, and it wasn't really my favorite. But yeah, this was the one story arc out of this that I didn't enjoy. So now let's move on to the next story. Now then, the next story goes on to The Flash versus Magenta. Now, how I would describe her is, if you're a Marvel fan or an X-Men fan, or you've probably seen any of the X-Men movies, she's like a female version of Magneto. She controls metal and this sort of thing. So yeah, there's I think 3 issues with her. I enjoyed this arc, and it was really good because the last arc I was like, because I sort of had a sour taste in my mouth, but then it came on to this and I actually enjoyed it. And it's him toying with the thing of like leaving the people that he loved, and how he was a bit of a womanizer but didn't know how to leave it off. So then he went off and didn't tell any of these girls that he was leaving. So this happened to this and another cop, and then that has repetition.
repetition.
No, that has consequences later on in the book, which you'll find out if you read this book. Now, the next story is about this guy here and him wanting to siphoning the Flash's speed so he can put it into his wife. And as you can see there on that panel, he basically does it by his followers and him killing him so he can then go on being immortal. So yeah, I enjoyed that story arc too. A lot of these story arcs I enjoyed, just the medieval one I really didn't like. So yeah, now let's move on to the next story arc. Now, next is the next one was him going up against Tar Pit. And I really love this page. This page is... No! Sorry. I really love this page. The art is great. And then Tar Pit, I really enjoyed this story as well. I just love Geoff Johns' writing. And Tar Pit was a cool villain. So yeah, as usual, another story arc that I enjoyed. I just love Geoff Johns' writing. And now let's move on to the next story arc. Now the next story arc is with Weather Wizard, and this goes along with a story where there's a baby left behind because of something that happened previously in the book, and they're not sure if it's Wally West's son. And then you have the confusion of that, and then you also have Weather Wizard coming along and saying that it's his son. So you have that whole dynamic going on, and then you also have Weather Wizard taking on the Flash by making a tornado, and him basically having to stop it, but him not being fast enough, and then him having to test his speed even more to stop the hurricane or tornado from going through. I enjoyed this story, and now let me go on to the next story. Now, the next story arc, I really enjoyed this story arc. I think this was my favourite out of all of them. And it was where the the Flash, Pied Piper, and Jay Garrick's Flash have to figure out what's going on in Iron Heights. And it's basically where it's this disease where a load of the inmates inside are dying or passing out. So basically Jay Garrick stays back to try and make an antidote and figure out why, as Pied Piper and the Flash go in, but they find out that a load of the inmates have broken out. Here is a picture of all of the people that go in. This is great Ethan Van Sciver art. I love Ethan Van Sciver's art. As you can see there, Jay Garrick, Wally West, Flash, and the Pied Piper. And then we have a villain that breaks out, which I think is really cool. Like, he doesn't speak, and the Flash doesn't know why, but that's because he actually sewed his mouth shut. I thought this was a great ending to the book, and it actually ends on a cliffhanger, so I now can't wait for book 2. But yeah, now to give you my final thoughts. So yeah, my final conclusion is I really enjoyed this book. Also, I think this is a great place for new people for the Flash to jump on. So they explain the villains, and you get to know some other people, other villains that you might not know from the TV show. Because I know a load of the popularity at the moment is coming from the Flash TV show. That's how I got introduced to the Flash, because of the Flash TV show and the cartoons. But I know that a lot of people that maybe don't read comics or don't watch cartoons are being shown the Flash because of the TV show. But yeah, this would be a great place, because as you can see here, I have the first 3 volumes of The Green Lantern by Geoff Johns, but all of those books have gone out of print, or like the rest have gone out of print. So I think that's going to be the same. I think that's the same for The Flash by Geoff Johns. I think this is a great place to start on. This book was released on the 25th of November, so I don't know when the next one will be out. So if you maybe pick it up now, you'll be able to catch up on the book before the next volume comes out. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Also, it's a good thick book with a lot of issues, like I showed you there. Also, it's a story following Wally West. So let's say if you want to read about some other Flashes instead of Barry Allen, here's a great book for people jumping on and for another Flash. And also, it tells you what actually happened to Barry Allen. But yeah, I would highly recommend this book, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in another video.